Just for today. Just for today.
How special is it to come back just to Philadelphia and compete at the Penn Relays?
Honestly, I'm so happy to be here. It kind of feels nostalgic. I haven't been here since I was like a teenager. And so coming back and just the energy of the crowd, seeing that it hasn't changed and that getting to see like a whole bunch of people that I haven't seen in a while, it's just good. It's really good.
Were people more, maybe more, obviously came here to see you, but your dad is obviously a legend in this city. Were stopping you guys, trying to talk with you guys? Or?
Oh, yes. And I love it too. Because like, I don't like when all the attention's on me. I like when it's on other people. So when it's him, I'm like messing with him and giving him a hard time. I'm like, this is Vashti Cunningham, you know? He has a lot of perks out here. So I just love coming back here.
What do you remember about competing as a teenager here and just being back here all these years later?
I remember walking onto the infield and there being like ridiculous amount of people out there like right now. And then I remember the roar of the crowd. So the two things that I remembered are still the same. Yeah.
And so what is, you did really well competing throughout the rest of this year. You've been at the top of the game for, since you were a high schooler in 2016. We've seen some others, like Mondo Duplantis, who also has been competing at a high level for a very long time. What do you do to kind of keep your head in the game where you're competing at such a high level for such a long period of time?
That's actually something that I was thinking about when I was in my room last night. Like, dang, I've been doing this for a long time. Does it feel different, like the pressure or the preparation? And it does feel different because it's something that I've gotten so used to, but just to remind myself that this is the career that God has blessed me with and this is the path that I'm, taking every single day. I can't give an inch. I have to stay focused. I have to stay determined. I can't get used to winning. I have to be on edge all the time. So, yeah, it just never really changes.
Are there ever days where you may not feel like that, or moments where you're like, man, I really would like to just, mail it in today? Or, and how do you fight those emotions and those feelings?
There's definitely days like that, when you get tired of doing the same thing over and over and over, and it's not easy to fight those emotions. Sometimes you need to feel it. Sometimes you need to take yourself out of your normal routine and do something different. Like for me, that's going to the mountains and taking hikes. I really like to reset that way. And even just take a short trip to California or something just to refresh myself. Because I feel like it's easy to get burnt out when you do the same thing. And just to remember that this is not something that I chose for myself. This is a blessing from God.
Where's the focus at right now? Obviously, it's the Olympic year, but it's like you said, you're a veteran in this. You've been doing this for a while. So where's your head at right now?
My focus is definitely on the Olympics, but it's also on the records. I did not jump at all like I should today with height-wise or anything like that, but I'm so focused on trying to chase down the American record and get to the podium in the Olympics that's where my focus is.
What are some things amongst your jump, technique-wise, that you're really focusing on to eventually get that American record?
I'm focusing on my approach a lot, the consistency of my approach. In high jump, it's kind of easy to step out or run a little bit slower and not hit your marks, and so that's the biggest focus for me is just getting consistent so that every jump is the same and there's not one that's great and one that's terrible and one that's okay. I just want to literally just gain consistency.
Just curious, as you mentioning that you've been competing for so long and talking about these little technical things that you have to improve upon, how are you able to hone in on improving the things that you need to work on, but then also not kind of letting go of the things that you have been doing well?
I don't know. Actually, I always tell my dad, how do you want me to focus on turning on this step and my speed and getting my head back? And I find that it's easier for me when I focus on my biggest error. And then I let the other things come naturally or work on those at a different time. But to do everything at once is difficult. And so a lot of film study helps me. I can sit here and mentally do things. So when I physically get out there, they're fresh in my mind. But if I don't do that film study, then that kind of hurts me a little bit. And so I hope that answered the question. That's a little difficult.
Sorry for jumping in a minute late, but this year it feels like the big crowd's back on Saturday for the first time in a while after the pandemic, and I'm wondering if that helped you.
I think it helped a lot of people to just have that off year and not even an off year because I trained through the pandemic. I think a lot of people did, but I think it just helped to refresh our minds and to get out of competition for a little bit and maybe spend more time doing other stuff outside of the sport. That's just me speaking for myself. But I'm ready to come back hard like before the pandemic. You know what I mean? Like, I'm ready to act as though there was no time off. Here goes my dad. I love it.
Did you notice